Can you hear us if I don't shout? Oh, good. I love the thumbs up.
On?
Like, that's just great. That's perfect. All right. Tech check. Taffy, say words.
Say words. Mine's good.
Justin, say words.
Hello. Hi. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one's a little low. Talk a little bit more into that.
All right, I'm going to talk a little more. Oh, yeah, if I get in there.
How's that for your chat?
I don't know.
By the way, everybody, Justin is currently live streaming, and if you go to his channel, it says POV. You're on a MAGFest panel.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious.
I think it's funny.
Like, I just find that to be the funniest thing in the world. Hey, Sam, say words.
Sorry, the minorities have to share a mic, so.
Wow.
I could share with Tab.
Did y'all hear me?
Welcome to the Comedy Central Roast of Noah. All right, guys. So first of all, let's figure out where the audience is.
They're in front of you.
They're in front of me. Thanks, Sam. Hello, chat. I feel like this is just chat. Okay, so how many of you are currently streamers? Just in general, streamers. Fantastic.
Cool.
Keep your hand up if you have achieved affiliate or partner status. Fantastic.
Hey,
Congratulations.
Very cool.
Keep your hand up if you've achieved a partner status. Fantastic.
Very
Excellent.
cool.
I love that.
Keep your hand up if you're an ambassador. Woo! That's what
Yeah!
I thought. Our fellow ambassador.
That's so. All of you in this room. I guess the follow-up question is: how many of you have wanted to stream but have not pressed the go live button yet, and you're hoping to find some stuff out? Excellent.
Proud of y'all.
I love that. Proud of you for coming here. You've gotten the first step. So what we're trying to do here today is give you a few tools, some tips, some tricks for figuring out, one, how to press that go live button if you haven't, and how to keep pressing it if you're doing it, and anything else that we can impart upon you to build out that kind of community. So I'm a lawyer, so I don't like stream that much. But I want to go down the line here and kind of talk to each of you about how you've built your communities on Twitch. What got you started? What got you staying in it? And how did you start doing it full time?
Twitch specifically, I was working in YouTube in 2010, 2011. My buddy and I were machinima partners, and we were trying to grow a channel over there. And without sounding too much like a homer, Northern Lion. I found Northern Lion's Twitch channel through his YouTube videos, and when I got there, it was a pretty quick gateway drug into Dan's Gaming and Cobalt and Richard Hammer and all those guys. And it didn't take me very long to realize that the guy I started a YouTube channel with was more into video editing, and I was more into community management and long-form content. And we kind of split ways, and he stuck with the YouTube channel, and I started cultivating a Twitch career and haven't really wanted to do much of anything since.
Cool. I initially with Twitch, I was obsessed with the tech side of it. I feel like it's like an odd way to get them, but I had an awful computer, and I was determined to make it stream StarCraft 2 at 60 FPS.
Oh my God.
That is genuinely like I was obsessed with it, and I got it there. And then past that, I was never a big single player game guy, and some of my friends set up Twitch accounts, so we would just watch each other. And like that baseline, like 5-6 people in my chat all the time, like just people kind of slowly trickled in, and then it just became a thing I did every day. And now I still do.
He stopped going to work, and slowly it just became work.
Kind of similar in a way. But I came from 911 dispatching, and it wasn't working career-wise with my hours and then my husband's hours with our very young son. So I quit to be a stay-at-home mom, and then I saw him watching somebody complete the Crota raid on Destiny solo, and I thought that he was watching a YouTube video, and he was like, no, this is live. And I was like, oh, well, whatever. So I went to the platform, and I was looking, I was like, is it only Destiny? Is it only like bro games? I was like, what about The Sims? And then I found this couple who were streaming The Sims, and they were the cutest thing. And it was my first intro, and I was like, I can do this. So I did. So then I went and grabbed my laptop. I set up, if y'all remember these days with the Xbox, when you had the snap feature, it is old, but I would snap my Destiny game and snap the Twitch chat, which means you get no audio from your game. So I was doing raids with no audio, but chat could hear it, and then I could read chat, and it's all that I had available to me. I was on my living room floor. I had, with my medical textbooks, my Xbox Kinect as my camera, and everybody was seeing my throat. So they call it the couch streams. So if people ever come in recommending my couch streams, I'm like, wow, that was a long time ago. But that's how I started, because I needed some way to still work. I didn't go into it for financial reasons. It was more so I've always been a consistent worker, and so staying at home just being mom was both lovely, and also I needed to get out in a way, and I couldn't just leave the house. So that was my way to do it, and then rest is history. Now I'm here forever.
I had a weird gateway into the live stream world. Back when it was Justin, the goal was to understand, what is this medium, what are folks doing? Friends were doing it, and I'm not going to name drop, but friends that you have heard of were looking for ways to be able to talk to companies, and a lot of them were like, how does this work? So I had to reverse engineer a lot of their problems into my solutions, and that's how it all started off. When I actually started live streaming, and I haven't for a while, mostly because of personal reasons, but when I started live streaming myself, it was to understand, what are they going through? How hard is it for a creator that I'm working with to get this thing started, and what are their problems? And thus I can understand and relate to making sure that we're building the right campaigns, or at least the right partnerships. This is back when like The Walking Dead Telltale was a thing, and I'm still just trying to learn what this is. Damn it. But that's how I got into it. And then I started doing food streams, and I had seen the evolution of what people consider to be streamable over time. And then I started realizing, okay, all content is safe and prominent here. You just have to find your people. And so far, every single audience, from RP to fashion to food and every kind of game you can think of, believe me, The Sims was the last game I thought anybody would ever watch.
It's same, that's why I looked it up. Yes. I was like, there's no way.
Right? So people found their people, and I found that the audience is still growing with new niches. So that's my gateway in.
That's cool. And like I said, I don't stream very much, but when I do stream, it's because I have so many clients that are, thank you, Andy. I have so many clients that are streaming. I also want to know what they're dealing with on a daily basis. You can only, as an attorney or some professional working in the space, embed yourself in the industry. So, like, you can only go so far embedding yourself in the industry without knowing physically how to press go live. You need to have that lived experience to really understand what your clients are going through in my particular case. So after years of watching all of these people up here do it, I finally pressed go live myself to fundraise for St. Jude Play Live one year. And every single one of my streams has been a charity stream ever since. But one thing that I found our little community was, every single time somebody shows up, it's because they support charity. And that's one thing that I built community around. Now, I'm still in the early phases of my stream. I'll be candid about it. Each of you has achieved success with streaming in one way or another, especially the full-timers. You didn't start there, right? Like, how did it start, and how did you build a community? And, like, what do they keep coming back for?
No, I was I went full-time in 2017 after kind of dinking around with it, just kind of like, I would stream for a little bit, I'd change my schedule, I was real inconsistent. My wife got sick, so at one point I thought my content creation career was over. We had a pretty terrible diagnosis, and it looked dire, but she beat it, and then she put her hand on my back and pushed me back out in front of the camera. And that was the point in time where I realized that I had a pep talk from a good friend named Nate Beck. And I had a real problem that I see with a lot of young streamers, and I was very much guilty of it, where I would say, I just don't want to stream today, so maybe I won't. And I was on a call with Nate, and I said, man, I really don't want to stream today. I'm thinking about calling out. And he said, well, you want this to be your job, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, then who gives a shit? He's like, go to work. And I don't know that I'd ever really framed it like that. And so since then, it pales compared to like Justin and his like work ethic, which is almost like mental illness, the amount of time he puts in front of a stream. But like, I will say that like now, one of the things that helps is that I made conscious strides to cultivate a community that was accepting, and it was a community that started off as a really toxic Call of Duty, let's see if we can get Taffy to freak out and throw a controller kind of community, which was dwindling. And then I saw another broadcaster named MAGFest who had a very warm, welcoming, open community streaming the same games that I was streaming. And I was like, dude, his workday looks so much more chill than mine. And so I made a conscious effort and cleaned house, and I threw out all the undesirables that didn't like it, including some mods. Started from scratch at like 35 viewers concurrent and built it back up over years. And I hit a scary part in like 2018 where I was probably 6 weeks away from bankruptcy. And I was looking at like security guard gigs and Amazon warehouse gigs. And then weeks before I almost crashed into the side of the mountain, a switch flipped and I don't know what happened. And all of a sudden my audience kicked into overdrive and I've made enough money to live and then some ever since. So I have no idea how I did any of that. And that's going to be the big takeaway, is that I know what I controlled and I have no idea why any of it worked. And I don't know that anyone can really tell you why it works.
Yeah, it's bad. And for me, yeah, like I started in 2011, got partnered in 2014, and like I started doing full-time hours then in 2014, but I don't think I earned enough to truly call it full-time. Like I wasn't earning full-time salary until like 2017, and for me at that point it was PUBG. I had like a perfect storm where like PUBG blew up, and I was playing a lot of it with friends, and I started networking around. That's when I met Northern Lions, started popping on the NLSS, like. All these things just kind of came together at once, and I was like, oh God, like this is actually sustainable. Like this, I feel like you spend a lot of the time being like, wow, this is cool, but it's gonna go away any moment, and you don't really get to enjoy it. And it really took like I'm not even being, I think like 2022 maybe is when I was like, oh, this isn't going away anytime soon. This is nice, and like it's still good. But yeah, it was again, much like Taffy, I feel like I have a community of like very sweet people. I feel like they genuinely care about me, and I care about them. Like not in like a weird parasocial way either, but like. I appreciate that, like a lot of my streaming is just talking, just kind of shooting the shit, doing whatever. I stream my cooking, I stream workouts, like whatever I could think of, because I just like to be live, and it's nice to have like nice people who like you. So it's just like a nice positive feedback loop. And yeah, that's about it.
I always like to say that your community is a reflection of yourself. So y'all are great, and I'm proud of y'all.
Thank you.
But truly, though, cultivate the community that you want from the beginning, because that is what's going to follow you. Regardless of if you do clean house, I'm sure that there's moments where it's just like, nah, we're not like that anymore. Or people will come in and be like, I remember the couch streams. The only thing they remember is that I'm still the same person. So that's really my, I guess, biggest piece of advice when it comes to starting out is start out strong the way that you want to be. And my roller coaster of this journey has been a lot. I have never been able to fully support my family just off of streaming. It is sponsorships where I have been able to support my family. I'm going to say that flat out. Please don't ever go into streaming thinking you're going to make big bucks, because literally the 1% is even smaller than that. And it sucks. But at the same time, you do have those people that you're going to go and turn on stream, and they're just there for you. And I do go on stream sometimes. It's like, y'all, I'm just tired. And they're like, that's okay. Do you want to stream? I'm like, no. And so they'll start giving that energy that I need, not because I'm asking for it, but because they want to hang out with me. And at the same time, they know that we can feed off of each other in that sense of, we're going to take care of you the way that you take care of us. But that's because how I cultivated it. And the way that support has come through emotionally is tenfold compared to what you can get financially. Yeah, it's not going to pay your bills. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't. But at the same time, it keeps you going, I think, every day, is that the people are there for you. Absolutely. And they're excited whenever you're there for them, too. So that's been my 9 years. It's been great.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, yeah.
I love this audience. Y'all clap for a lot, and it's really nice. Thank you.
Hey, let's go.
Don't let him
standing
manipulate you.
ovation.
Come on.
To speak to this from a, I guess, outsider data perspective, there's been a lot of studies, case studies, and a lot of interviews about this. We're talking about thousands of creators from all over the world, and different cultures provide different results. And when we think about why communities stick around with creators, or why creators have sustained as long as they have, we are seeing new research that suggests how and when a creator will decide to move away from their community or change jobs. For example, everybody know who MatPat is, yes? Yep. We've just seen MatPat retire. Over 10 years in this industry, done a lot of great work. There comes a time where he's made a decision that he has to change, and a lot of folks either hit that wall earlier or they haven't hit it yet. But at the end of the day, one undeniable bit of data is that the audience and the community that you cultivate is the reason why people stay as long as they have. So regardless of what it might look like when it comes to folks who might give you that advice as a personal one-to-one, it's genuinely true. And we're starting to see this generational shift where people who have been following certain audiences back in the early Rooster Teeth days have created such loyalty to those fan bases that it's starting to show long-term dedication to wherever they go next. So yeah, it's very, very true. They will follow you. So to keep yourself around in that ecosystem and make sure that you're keeping yourself in a positive light, keep that business as close to you as you can, and think about it as if it was a brick and mortar. Why do I love this business? What am I doing with it? And what am I going to take with it? They'll follow you otherwise.
And speaking a little bit more on how you can cultivate that community and create the community that's going to support you and keep you streaming longer. Because being honest, not everyone's going to be a full-time streamer. It's hard. It's really hard. Some people say, oh, but you just play video games all day. No. Because what you see out there, and this is coming from the perspective of somebody that advises a lot of streamers on their business, what you see a streamer doing when they go live for their 8:30 to 3:30 or whatever their schedule is, that is maybe 50% of the job. The other 50% is the work you put in outside of that, networking, coming up with games, coming up with bits, because Justin comes up with so many bits.
Oh, thank you.
And
Checking your damn email.
checking your email.
Emails, video editing, social media posting,
social posts,
bookkeeping.
everything. And so one of the things I do want to kind of talk about is we've seen, especially on Twitch, Twitch trying to come up with built-in tools to help with some of that outside stuff, whether it's helping you figure out your analytics or doing clips better or highlights and stuff like that. Can you all talk a little bit about some of the tools that Twitch has that you've been able to utilize to help with the work outside of just the stream?
Closed captions. Those are a really great tool that I have thoroughly implemented in every single thing that I do, because I know that it helps later on, one, with captioning your stuff later, if you have it already on there and you record your things or download them. Or it also helps with the simple fact that your community members appreciate the hell out of it, because not everybody is going to be able to see everything the right way or hear everything the right way, and that's fine. So take care of people right at the start whenever you can, and then that also saves you a lot of work later as well. But their closed captioning tool has been my hands down favorite tool that they've ever put in.
It is phenomenal. I remember back when they didn't have that tool, and I remember working on some streams with you where we had to do external closed captioning tools, and it was very difficult, honest, and they were buggy. But the new ones, I really like them.
Yes.
So I'm going to jump in on two newish tools that everybody should be paying very close attention to, and it is related to short form content, i.e. your clips, as well as your is it stories? Is it Twitch story?
They just put that one.
Whatever they call it. But yes, it's essentially those two areas. The reason why I'm saying pay attention to it is because they're going to put a lot of attention, data, and money into short form content. Those small digestible bits are how folks are going to start finding you. That's the virality that you end up finding, and all of a sudden that great moment that you had that was a minute long brings you new audience that you wouldn't get before. Pay very close attention to those areas, because your clips and your moments that you're often spending those hours right after your stream is done, essentially editing out and going there. Use what you had there, put it on Twitch, and then start to push it out to other platforms, because everyone is starting to pay attention to how valuable that is. And even though it's small bite-sized content, it makes a big difference for folks who would have never had the opportunity to see you, because they're not browsing the categories the way they used to. Now they're just trying to find who they enjoy. They find a streamer, they stick to 1 to 6 categories at most. The average person doesn't follow as many streamers as you think, and they subscribe to even fewer. So you're trying to find your audience in your community. So those are the newer tools that I say, pay close attention to it, utilize it as much as you can until the next tool.
Yeah, and on that note, so me personally, the Twitch, between clips and their short form editor tool, Yeah. That was massive for me in 2023.
Yeah.
So just like I was on the YouTube grind in like 2011, 2012, and I let it die a while ago. I was like, I'm just a streamer. I'm not going to do YouTube. So I never did YouTube, never did TikTok. This year, I changed that. And I started downloading, I was like, any clips I have with more than like 10 views, I'm just going to download them, go through them. I was playing a lot of Dark and Darker, if anyone's familiar with it. But like some of my shorts, like I've got some that are like almost 10 million views at this point. And I had no YouTube presence. And every stream I get at least a dozen people who are like, dude, I love your shorts on YouTube or on TikTok. And I'm like, wow, yeah. I did this after I spoke to you. You told me to do this. Genuinely. You really, that's it was the best advice I got last year. So thank you.
Thanks. That means a lot.
Yeah.
That's better advice from people who are much. Yeah, I'll applaud Chef Andy Unique.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This audience is dope.
That's better advice from people who are probably much more up to date with all of the more recent Twitch features. I've found stuff that works for me. I was a big defender of Twitch back in the day when they would roll out new stuff and people would, whine and yawn and groan about like, oh, well, Bits is ripped off from that, and like, oh, gifting subs is nah, nah, nah. A lot of us got started up here when it was literally you and PayPal and nothing else. And so every time they roll out something that makes it a little easier for me to figure out a way to turn it into a bit or to turn it into some sort of incentivization to try to get money put into my pocket, I really roll into that. I should do better, and I probably will start to do better in 2024 about learning about the new technologies that are out there. But I'm a guy who, Bits happened, and I rolled out. I hired the guy who used to do. I'm the John Hammond spared no expense streamer for my assets and visual assets. I hired the guy who used to do the Jumbotron animations for the Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets to do my alerts. Jacksepticeye showed up in my channel one day, and it was humbling because I had triple-digit viewers and four-figure subs. And he said, all right, I'm going to give $1,000 to this tiny streamer. And I was like, bro, I'll take your money, but like, I'm in the top 1,000 globally. Whatever, thank you for the money, put me in your video. But when the alarm went off for like the $1,000 tip, Sean lets out this resounding like, whoa! He was like, this is way better than anything I have on my channel. And because I was like, oh, this is a thing that's available to me, I'm going to maximize my value on it, he gave me the first slot placement in that video. So even if people didn't watch that entire YouTube video, everybody watched my segment of me playing Hades. And 3.5 years later, I think, I still have people at least weekly coming into my channel because on a day that I didn't feel like streaming, I went to work and met opportunity head on and had the pieces in place. And so I still 3 years later have people coming from that Jacksepticeye video saying, holy shit, man, I saw your alerts. That was crazy. What was it like having Jack here? And I was just like, come on in, sit down, hit follow. And that was just one of those days where being prepared, set me up for success when opportunity showed up very unexpectedly at my door. So.
Yeah, to kind of chime in, some of the things, and Ray Apollo, who we love Ray. He could not make it today, unfortunately. He was sick and couldn't make it to MAGFest, but he sent me some talking points. Ray works for Twitch. Ray's in charge of Twitch Creator Camp. He's got other amazing titles, but he wants me to tell you that they also have a new feature called Stream Together. It's kind of the replacement for Guest Star. And similar to what Andy was talking about, where you have a lot of focus on the short form content, Twitch is also looking for a lot more people to work collaboratively. So they're going to invest a lot of resources into Stream Together, especially since it's the version 1, I guess, the full version, out of early access version of Guest Star. So using that kind of stuff will definitely increase your visibility on the platform, we're hearing, which is going to be cool. So make sure you're familiar with that. In addition, this is the Twitch Creator Camp panel, and it is the first Creator Camp of the year. And so I have a prepared statement for you all. He literally texted this to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I got it.
Array Apollo original.
Array Apollo original. In 2018, Twitch launched an educational landing experience for creators that gave streamers access to the information they need to meet their goals in an easily digestible format within the Twitch ecosystem. Educational materials on the site come in a variety of forms, from written articles, tips from the community, live stream discussions and video content featuring past and existing streamers. The Creator Camp plays to Twitch's strong points around community, interactivity, and live. In 2024, our educational programs will continue. You heard it here first, folks. Expanding on existing content to update and inform the community and the streamer community as it grows. Topics will include, but aren't limited to, how to use ads, simulcasting, effective communication strategies, the streamer's journey, etc. He spelled out etc. In an thank you. In an ever-growing competitive landscape, we need to help our creators succeed on Twitch, and my personal view is that education is a key part to that success. Have an amazing rest of your MAGFest, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there today. Also, Noah is great. You should work with him. Okay, thanks. Bye. He did write that.
Did he really? Let me see.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Oh, he really did. He genuinely did.
How much
He
did you
literally
pay
wrote
him?
that. What?
How much did you pay him?
I paid him nothing. I'm Ray's lawyer.
Allegedly.
So that is all to say that this is the first Creator Camp of 2024. Twitch is going to be putting out a lot more things about simulcasting, putting out education about, hey, here's how you can get the content you make on Twitch and put it in front of other eyes. Because Twitch loves it when you have eyes on other platforms, because it drives things back to your Twitch stream. They want to have cross-pollination because that cross-pollination comes back to Twitch. And that's beneficial for them because that means there's more revenue on the platform. No comment. That's tomorrow's panel, Andy. So one of the things you can now do, and they are updating contracts to affect this. Your contracts do not currently reflect this, but they will be updating for the partner contracts at least, is that you can simulcast on certain other platforms. Obviously, read the specific terms of service. But you're seeing a lot of creators, for example, streaming on both TikTok and Twitch because they want you to use your short-form content audience, bring that audience onto Twitch as well, and increase your revenue through Twitch's monetization options, such as bits and gift subs. So 2024 is looking bright, apparently.
That's good.
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, what are some other things that you've had just as a tool on Twitch or things that you've kind of played into before we get to questions in about 5 minutes that you've really kind of utilized or things that you have seen in the past that you hope come back?
This is not a tool that Twitch directly holds, but it's going to sound dorky, but your data makes a big difference. Oh, yeah. And I know this is a whole nother panel's worth of information, but you cannot go into this with the grind mentality. If I just stay live and I just keep going, and if I just stay online, they will come. That is not how it works. On any other platform, you need to be able to pull your analytics from week to week, day to day, and start to find your patterns. You need to look at when you spike. You need to see, there are tools out there that will let you know where your audience is. Where are the most, when you're at your peak viewership, where's everybody stationed? Are they overseas? Are they on the East Coast or on the West Coast? Adjust your hours. What games are they reacting to? And I don't mean if they were reacting to your COD gameplay, have they been paying attention to first-person shooters or RPGs? Then look at your own content and say, when am I most engaged compared to when the stream is most engaged? You're going to be able to find those pieces where it goes, cool, this is the content I should be focusing on. These are the audiences I should be speaking to. It is not an easy exercise. But everybody who's sitting at that top 1%, from Cutie all the way to Co, right down to Beast, everybody has done this exercise repeatedly, and they continue it today. They know who's in the room, and if you don't take the time to do so, you will spiral and not know your audience in any way, shape, or form. You might know your community, but you don't know who's watching you. And it's going to be important to really break that down. So those 5 days that you're streaming, cut it down to 4, spend that 5th day understanding what the work is. And that is my only piece of advice in that area.
Actually, to kind of follow up on that, look at your own stats, but also look at the platform stats. Use Twitch Tracker or Sullynome to look at your overall stats, but also the stats that are on Twitch. Find out, hey, I play, for example, The Binding of Isaac all the time. It's my morning game. When does everybody else play The Binding of Isaac? And avoid those times. That way that people are looking for The Binding of Isaac at a specific time. Well, Taffy, actually, you did this, didn't you?
Feels like a very specific example.
Yeah. Taffy, talk about it.
I wish I was as smart as Andy, and I could say that I did this as a conscious effort, but it was like a subconscious thing that You heard me list all the people that I thought of as examples and the people I wanted to emulate coming in, but I also didn't want to try to take their viewers away from them because I knew I would lose because they were there first. So I started streaming in the mornings because there were not very many Binding of Isaac streamers or variety casters that I wanted to emulate that were in that spot, because notoriously we don't want to get up and work in the morning or else we just go get normal jobs. So I really kind of fell with my butt in the butter there because my audience is overwhelmingly middle-aged adults with careers and jobs and disposable income. And that's not something that factored in, but it's something that I definitely recognized pretty quickly. Like Andy said, reading the tea leaves every day. And so it means that like I accidentally found my way into an audience that did a $30,000 week for me back in November with 200 viewers. So I outpunched my weight class by quite a bit. And it was all because I had an instinct to go where the competition wasn't. And that has sort of matriculated into a better living that I feel like I even deserve just based on what kind of audience I cultivated by doing something that felt like a smart business move. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. I recently cut. I've been not in the last 2 weeks. I've been adding an extra day off though to catch up on editing, to go through my stats, like all that stuff. It's great advice. I had something else there too. It'll come back. Yeah. But genuinely, it's more like my chat agrees too. Like in my head for years, it's been like, well, I can't scale back because they want more of me. They want me here more. But like, chats are smart and they can tell when you are burnt out and when you're not in it. And when you start to go through the motions, like people aren't going to want to watch that. And I I cut my hours pretty much in half like a month ago, which was to say like I'm still doing 80 hours a week, but it's not 160.
Right.
So, or every 2 weeks, whatever. But like that, like they were happy to see that. Like they encouraged that. And like that's, like I don't know.
I like you to keep looking down the camera because chat's behind the camera.
I do chat.
It's like
I'm
you're
saying
looking
very
at it,
nice things to them.
You're just like, oh, chat. Yeah, there you go. Oh, good chat. So now I think is there anybody else got anything they want to toss in before we open it up to
You
questions?
mean the one person who hasn't spoken? Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah, I'm right here.
Go ham.
So what I kind of similar to every single one of these people. I found my analytics and looked at them, and then sometimes I didn't. However, so I was full-time. I was that morning streamer for years, and then I got my full-time job, which is a 9 to 5. So I had to leave my slot of my 9 to 5 for streaming. But now what I do is I go live a little bit earlier. I know, I don't always get that early, but I'm a morning person, so it works for me. However, I do my makeup. There's not a big amount of people, a large amount of people who do their makeup or things that are more fashion oriented or beauty oriented. There is significantly much more now than there was years ago when I started, which is amazing. So also this is to say, if there is not a category that makes sense to you, make that category make sense. So you can make that category. And it's okay, because there are companies who are always trying to find what's the next thing. How can I get into this? And if there's that one person who's doing this one thing that nobody is thinking to really do because it's not elevated for them, they will come to you. And that has significantly helped me both with my mental health and my hours, because it's like I do my makeup every morning. I might as well just go live. And then I just have friends to hang out with while I do my makeup. Some of them are getting ready with me, or they're getting ready for work, or they're at work, and they're like, this is just relaxing. So I get to sit here and chat with you while also I'm answering these things that could have been emails, but it's a meeting right now. But it's okay. I have them muted, but they don't know that. So that is, I'm right. But yeah, so finding that area that is comfortable, and it makes streaming, not that it's easy, but it makes it make sense to the hours that you might have. Not everybody can put out 8 hours. That's a lot, especially as we get older. We're tired. That's a lot of hours to do. So find those little bits, and then your community will be thankful for that too, because they get your full attention in those smaller amount of times, instead of, like Justin said, realizing, oh, this person's burnt out. I'm gonna find like Hypergirl 100 over here instead. But yeah, no, that's just my little. What?
I was going to say, Sam, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, you have gone through more drastic changes and waves in your stream.
That's not healthy, though. Let's be real.
No. But it's
Why are you
because-
calling me out like this?
Well, so let me finish the question.
Okay.
You have gone from both family friendly to not family friendly at times. You have handled the you've handled the Animal Crossing wave to changing content dramatically to a lot of tabletop content, and you've done so really successfully and with an amazing community. And I don't know if you have any particular tips that you want to or can identify.
Brace them for impact is what I have always done. So I first started streaming Destiny. I went from Destiny to streaming GTA 5 before RP. And GTA 5 was hella toxic. I hated every single day that I had to stream, but I had to stream because I was working toward partnership. Please don't do this. It was the worst time of my life. As soon as I got partnership, I never streamed GTA 5 a day of my life. And I won't. I will not go back to it. But then I went from that and was like, okay, I want to embody what Sam really is, and that's just someone who's cozy. I just want to be cozy and comfy and quit shooting the guns. So I started doing the Sims content. And then I did that for years and years and years. Animal Crossing came out in 2020. That was a big boom. So I did that, and then I was like, I've been really enjoying this game off stream, and I really hope my community will enjoy it, which was Final Fantasy XIV. And so I became a Final Fantasy XIV streamer by telling them, hey, we're going to start with a little bit of Animal Crossing, and then I want to get into this. But as the story progressed, for those of you who know the story, beautiful. If you don't know the story, you should. It is not family friendly. So I had to be like, hey, this is the time if you're for some reason putting your kid in front of the TV, stop it, because I'm going to go into oh no, he's hot mode, and I want you to be aware of this. And so that's when I started taking off the family-friendly tag. It doesn't mean I'm still not Sam, but I am hyper aware of the content that I am putting out there may not be suitable for this younger audience. So that is where I went into like the brace for impact, because this is coming. And then I did Final Fantasy XIV content for the last 3 years. I still do it. Did you play that patch on Tuesday? I have not. Please don't spoil anything. I'm excited. But yeah, and then I still integrate where my fashion content comes in, as well as my makeup content. So that's like my morning cozy time, and then it's let's go. Although Lethal Company's been great recently.
Oh my God.
So regardless of what you're playing, Lethal Company's fun, and you should play with your friends.
And one of the things that I'll also point out about that is that Sam's ability to ride that wave and cultivate that community, regardless of the type of content, has also led to Sam being able to get sponsorships, which is what pays the bills, as Sam identified at the beginning of this panel.
Yes, it pays the bills.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not getting Moneymaker 500 over here giving you all this money. I'm sorry, I'm not as cool as Taffy or Justin. It's just, there's a lot of reasons that it could be, one being a woman. However, that is significant that I do not make a lot of money from subs. It is not my thing. But at the same time, it's kind of nice that I don't make my money that way and I get it from sponsorships, because then I don't always feel the pull of, if I hit this goal of 500 subs this week, I'll do this thing that I don't want to promise you, but I'm going to do it because it pays my bills tomorrow. And this is not me saying what you're doing is wrong. This doesn't work for me. So be aware that things that we're saying does not mean that what you're doing is wrong. It just works for us.
Yeah, well said.
For sure.
Well said. Okay, we're going to open the floor to questions. We have a microphone right here, and we can move it around. In general, historically, we've done a line. That might not be the easiest thing to do here. If you can do it, however, that'd be wonderful. Do we have somebody that's willing to run the microphone around to people raising their hands?
They should say run to the microphone.
Yeah, Alon's my runner. Yeah, Alon's my runner. Run it to people as they raise their hands. All right, cool.
Hi, everybody. So my name's Amaretto. I actually started streaming after the start of the pandemic. I dabbled in it, then stopped, then kind of came back after I had like my mom die and I lost a relationship, and I'm trying to build a community. And I found some friends and stuff, and it's been awesome. Twitch has been so great for my mental health. Unfortunately, I have had people that have like follow-botted me. So I guess my question would be like, is that something where I'm going to need to be concerned if I try and grow my main channel? And like, if so, like, how do I take care of that? Because I want like actual organic people. I'm not necessarily, I'd love to make this my job, but I'm a college student, I'm a social work student, so I'm not expecting Twitch to pay my bills at this point in time. So I guess that's kind of my question. Like, what would you do if you were in my shoes? If you have been in my shoes, I'd love to know like what you did to kind of deal with that.
You got it?
You first. You're the one.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, when it comes to getting followed about it or having harassment like that, first of all, that sucks. I'm sorry that happened to you. That is never fun, especially when you're trying to cultivate a space. The second thing that I would do is immediately let somebody at Twitch know, support@twitch.tv. Hey, I'm getting followed about it. What are some tips? Now, Twitch Trust and Safety has put out a lot of really great informative articles on, hey, here's how you lock down your channels. And it's because they had to. They were forced to figure this out when AOC started streaming. And so they have a lot of wonderful articles. In addition, thank you, Ten. In addition, I would recommend just brushing up on all the Creator Camp and look at some of the trust and safety tools that they've released. What you're specifically looking for, just to kind of cut away all the extra noise, is trust and safety tools on Twitch. And there's a lot of stuff on your dashboard that you do have access to.
For example, we had to do this once, not because of me, but because one of my friends who was a partnered streamer was catching so much hate because of a thing that she was going through in a very public setting, that when she came to my channel, people who were kind of tracking where she was being active on Twitch would come to my channel to screw with her there because they had been banned in her channel. And so that was one of those things where I have tremendous mods who are much more, they're the people who have read the articles because they're dealing with that in multiple channels simultaneously. And one of them was a feature that forces people to validate their account with an email address before they can speak, and that'll eliminate a lot of like follow bots and freshly minted accounts that are made for harassing purposes.
Yeah.
But there's good documentation out there for trying to find tools that are specific to what you're having to deal with, and I'm sorry that you are.
Also, I want to clarify, it wasn't just because of AOC. So formerly Record Raven, also now Raven is Towels right now, did the Twitch Do Better call out over all social media. And because of them doing that huge step that brought them so much flack is what brought us a lot of these incredible tools. So just utilize those. I used to get follow botted by 4chan back in 2015. Wild time. That was great. And by great, I mean, I hated it, but I would have to like tell on myself to Twitch and be like, yo, I just got like 5,000 followers for some god-awful reason, and they would go and remove them. I don't think that they do that anymore because there are so many more streamers now.
Yeah.
But utilizing these tools that have been implemented for our safety and for help like that, hopefully can help minimize that impact.
Yeah, and if you want to follow that story, Wreck-It Raven, and I'm so glad you said it because I legally can't.
Currently Ravenous Tales.
Yeah, I was about to say Ravenous Tales. I'm Raven's counsel, so I can't talk about that. So, yeah, thank you.
And shared ban lists in Justin's
Yeah.
chat.
Shared ban
ban
list.
list is a really cool thing that's come up. So
Yeah, it's a new tool. It's a good one. But yeah, I pretty much what y'all have said. I dealt with a follow bot. It was maybe like a year or two ago now. But yeah, Twitch's stance was like, hey, like, don't encourage it. You're not going to get in trouble for it. Like,
Right.
You're not going to get punished for it. But yeah, like me personally, like follower only mode is my savior. Whenever I see like a bunch of people coming in, and like I usually have the suspicion, like, I'd like the point of that is to make you feel like there's a bunch of people coming in to say something. Where it's like, oh, no, it's just one like loser with a bunch of accounts.
Right.
But yeah, like like follower only mode, 1 week.
All right, next question.
Yeah, next question.
Hello, I'm Paradox Mint. My question is about growing your following. Like, I've been streaming for a while, and like I have a very tight-knit community. But for growing it, what do you suggest is better? Focusing on the short content, highlight reels? Like, because I've noticed I make highlight reels, I'll spend hours making it, and then like no one views it. But I will make like 30-second clips, and those get viewed. So like, what do you suggest for growing your following outside of Twitch into the TikTok, into the YouTube, etc.?
I think you answered your own question.
I figured. If you want, I also have a fun question, which is, what did you spend your money on when you got your first payout?
Short form. So the thing with our community is a lot of us are neurodivergent, which means short form content is our medicine. So I'm not saying that as if that is actually medication. Please do not take that out of context. However, yeah, so a lot of times our brains right now want that quick react, and so the short form is what is growing people exponentially more than our longer form content is outside of where the source is coming from, if that makes sense.
also, if you can cross-pollinate with like-sized channels and find other content creating friends, that's short form is absolutely it of the things that you listed. But I'm not particularly good at keeping up my socials or my YouTube or my TikTok or any of that. So I coattail Justin. It's just like I just go wherever Justin goes, and I try to leech as many viewers and followers off of him as I can. As part of it, if you can.
That's fair.
Hello. So I'm a neurodivergent streamer and mental health advocate. So one thing with that is I like to be there for my community, but sometimes I am very understandable of telling people I'm not a mental health professional. I can only help as much as I can. But how can you best support your community with moments like that, but not like stray them away, but also not take on too much of the emotional stuff yourself?
Great question, and everyone else up here has very practical advice, but I have a legal response to that, which is if your community is coming to you for support in that manner, be very careful to set up boundaries, because if you are not a mental health professional with an existing prior relationship with that particular member of chat, you could open yourself up to liability if you say the wrong thing. So be very careful with that. That parasocial relationship, having that forum is kind of a dangerous thing, actually. So yeah, great question.
This comes from seeing quite a few stories that you don't want to hear about in this room, of people who've gone a step too far. My personal advice is to make sure that line is clearly drawn and reinforce that line. And your moderator should also help in that reinforcement to ensure that you're not being led into any particular areas where you didn't intend on speaking, because you're still doing multiple tasks, and that's a difficult thing to do. But after recognizing over several years, there are just some relationships that folks don't understand are not quite as close as you might assume. So that is the area where, although it might seem difficult, understanding the line of entertainment, business, community, and saying this is where it stops, and setting that boundary is incredibly important.
And if they don't respect that boundary, then already they're just not somebody who should be in your community anyway. So as soon as you set that line and they cross it, that's not on you. I think that's
phenomenal.
So, hi again.
Pikachu.
So, okay, so my question, just trying to figure out the right way to go, to get to it, because I know the question. It's just so okay. So I've been a Twitch VTuber since for 3 years now, going on 4 now. Started in 2020 while I was still working, but I was starting to live on my own, and yeah. Anyway, so it has something to do with building a community, but what about trying to build a specific kind of community, because right now my community is basically kind of just not very talkative, or not don't really chat a bunch, and it's kind of hard for me to interact with people when they're not talking to me first. I'm more of a responder, and a listener and a responder, and not someone who starts conversations. So it always I guess what I'm asking is do I encourage my community, or encourage my community to to reach out, or to start, or to say words, I guess.
Andy's smarter than me. Go.
No. Tactical bit of advice: do you use Discord?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're a Discord user, one thing that might help in a situation where suddenly you don't know what to talk about, but you're waiting for call and response, and you don't want to be in the moment, is when you're not in that moment, write down any old question that comes to mind, topical or not, and then essentially just fill that into one of your, not announcements, into your overlay, and just go, hey, this is the topic of the moment, and let folks talk, and then react to that. So essentially, it's feeding content to the chat that you're not thinking of on the fly. We actually use that in post-production very often when we're doing other streams in other areas. So it essentially gives you a bit of a script that you're not having to read, and now chat goes, hey, we're all talking about this, then let them spiral into chaos, whether it be a funny topic, serious topic, or loony topic, then you're able to respond to their engagement. So you've dropped a conversation bomb, and now you're reacting to the shrapnel.
I'll also do stream of consciousness, inner monologue. Just I let it loose, and I'll keep a list, because honestly, it's the kind of thing where I know Justin feels the same way. You're constantly sort of fishing for what you're going to bring in that day, and so I have like a little legal pad in my head. If I'm on a treadmill, grocery shopping, driving around doing errands, one of my kids says something that I think is especially heartwarming. I hate that I have to do this, but I go, yep, that's a little thing I can bring in later. And even if I have a pretty good handful of viewers, I'll have days where, like I said, they're all working. I'm on a different tab. They're in a spreadsheet. They're in a phone call. So I can go 30 minutes without anything happening. And in those times, I'll just kind of, I'm a dude wandering around with a lighter looking for a fuse. And so it's, I'll do, looking around to see how age appropriate this is. I'll do what I call porno commentary, where I just describe what's happening on screen. And I'll let you fill that in however you see fit.
Did you think that was going there?
Speaking of, we did just
I gotta wrap it up.
I gotta
wrap it up in the back of the back.
You did this, right?
Bruh. So what we're going to do real quick is I know that there's approximately like 14 more questions out there. So I want to make sure that you do have the opportunity to find us and ask those questions later, because if I say rapid fire right now, we'll just be here for 15 minutes and then won't be asked back to MAGFest ever again. So real quick, where can people find you and what's the easiest thing to do? What's your username? Go.
McLaffy Taffy on basically everything that matters. And I'm almost always on Twitch Monday through Friday in the morning.
AT Justin everywhere, and you will find me on Twitch generally around 3 p.m. every day.
Sam on Twitch, SEUM, or just Sam, all on social medias, JUSTSUM, or you can find me over on twitch.tv/Wounded Warrior Project on Tuesdays, producing and casting in their TTRPG and D&D productions, as well as on Friday for their weekly jam.
Chef Andy Lunique. The Lunique is unique with an L in front of it. On hiatus from Twitter because dumpster fire, but on LinkedIn, TikTok, and everywhere else. And we'll be creating videos to show folks like yourself how to speak to brands. So looking forward to that.
And my lawyer friend on Twitch, TikTok, and Twitter. And also, download the Forgotten Pats podcast.
I really quickly, I just want to say that I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be happy to go out into the hallway once we vacate and answer more questions.
Definitely.
Me too.
Yeah, for sure.
See y'all out there. Thanks so much for
Thank
coming.
you. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Twitch.